I found out my brother was a kidnapper, and his victim begged me not to call the cops. Her eyes were the first thing I noticed, not wide with fear, not red from crying, but calm, almost knowing, like she had expected me. She sat behind the steel bars of a makeshift door in the basement. Bare mattress, soft yellow light, a worn-out book in her lap. She looked maybe 19, 20, early 20s at most. Hair tied back, no bruises, no chains, no panic. Just one line. "Please don't call the cops." My hand froze mid-dial. I hadn't seen my brother in 6 years, not since he stole from our parents and disappeared into silence. But today, when I stepped into his house in the woods, I didn't expect to find her. Now I'm stuck in the middle of the ugliest question of my life. What do you do when the victim doesn't want to be saved? Noah always made it easy to love him, and impossible to trust him. He had that kind of energy you couldn't bottle. Charismatic, fearless. He could charm cops, strangers, girls, even my parents, until he couldn't. When we were kids, he was my everything, my hero, my shield, the one who taught me how to lie convincingly and tell the truth when it mattered. But the older we got, the more those lies became comfortable for him. By the time Noah was 23, he'd burned every bridge he ever walked on. And at 27, he vanished completely, after stealing over $10,000 from our parents' retirement fund. I was the one who caught him. I was the one who told him to leave. And I was the one who said, "I don't ever come back." And for 6 years, he didn't. The letter came out of nowhere, a real one, pen on paper, postmarked from rural Maine. "Liam, if you ever want to talk, I'm clean now, I swear. 221 Caro Hill Ward. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just maybe a chance. Noah." I crumpled it at first, let it sit in my trash can. Then I pulled it out, read it again. I don't know why I drove up there. Closure? Pity? A sick part of me that missed him? Either way, 5 hours later, I was pulling off a lonely gravel road into a clearing of pine and fog. The cabin looked peaceful, too peaceful. Wooden porch, wind chimes, a swing, one pickup truck, no neighbors in sight. I knocked, no answer. Knocked again, still nothing. The front door creaked open, and just like that, I stepped back into my brother's life. Inside was sterile, too neat. No clutter, no pictures, no warmth. It felt like a stage house, like someone had tried too hard to look normal. "Noah," I called out. Nothing. I walked through the kitchen past a row of spotless dishes and unopened mail. Everything smelled faintly like lemon cleaner and wood, and then I heard it, a soft hum, coming from somewhere below me. Basement, of course. I found the door half hidden behind a hanging quilt. When I opened it, the sound got clearer, like a melody just out of reach. Maybe a radio, or someone, singing. Each step I took down into that basement made my stomach tighter. The air changed, cooler, damp, still. I turned the corner, and then I saw her. She looked up the moment I stepped in, like she'd been waiting, sitting cross-legged on a thin mattress behind what looked like a reinforced steel-barred gate, like a cage or maybe a cell, but not dungeon dark. It was gentle almost, soft lighting. A small desk with books, a little space heater, a few scattered clothes in a laundry basket. Not what you picture when you hear the word kidnap. And then she smiled. "Hey, you must be Liam." That stopped me cold. Who are you?" "I'm Ava," she said, like we were old friends reuniting at a coffee shop. "I live here." "You live here?" "Well, kind of." She gave a little shrug. "It's complicated." I couldn't take my eyes off the bars. Thick, welded, locked from the outside. She saw the look on my face and stood, brushing her hands on her jeans. She wasn't trembling, wasn't desperate. She walked up to the gate slowly, deliberately. "You're gonna want to call the police," she said. Yeah, are you okay? Are you being kept here?" She shook her head. "Not like you think. Please, just don't call anyone. Not yet. Let me explain." I pulled out my phone anyway, thumb hovering over 911, and that's when she said it. If you call the cops, Noah goes to prison, and I'll never get better. I didn't understand, not at first, but she started talking. Calm, collected, like she'd rehearsed it 100 times. Ava was 21, college dropout, diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and CPTSD after a string of abusive relationships and a suicide attempt. She said Noah found her living out of her car last year, took her in, cleaned her up, didn't touch her, didn't hurt her, but then she asked him to do something insane. I asked him to lock me in, literally, like physically prevent me from hurting myself. It was my idea. I didn't believe her, not fully, but then she lifted her sleeve, showed me the tattoo on her wrist. 1 more hour. It's my mantra, she said. Every time I want to end it all, I just try to get through 1 more hour. Noah helps me do that. My voice cracked when I asked the question. You chose this? I did. I signed a paper. I told him if I ever begged to leave, not to listen. That's part of the deal. But that's not legal or right. She nodded, slowly. Maybe not, but it's the only thing that's worked. I've tried therapy, pills, hospitals, nothing stuck. But here, I've gone 9 months without a single relapse. I feel safe. Then she stepped forward, right up to the bars and said, Don't take that away from me. Liam! The voice behind me snapped the air in half. I turned, and there he was. Noah. Same eyes, same build. Just older. His once shaggy hair was buzzed down now. His face thinner, paler, worn. But the moment our eyes met, time folded in on itself. We stood in silence. Him on the basement stairs. Me frozen in front of Ava's cell. You came, he said quietly, like he wasn't sure if he was relieved or afraid. I swallowed hard. My voice was all edge. What the hell is this? Noah glanced at Ava. She gave him a soft, almost reassuring nod. Let's talk upstairs, he said. I didn't move. I'm not going anywhere until you explain what I just saw. He nodded slowly. No defense, no excuse. Okay, but not in front of her. Please. We sat in the kitchen, same place we used to sneak Pop-Tarts as kids. Now the air between us felt like razor wire. He slid a mug of coffee toward me. I didn't touch it. You locked a woman in your basement, Noah. She asked me to. Do you hear yourself? Yeah, I do. Every day. He rubbed his hands together, eyes flickering with something I hadn't seen in years. Guilt. She was spiraling. I found her behind a dumpster with a needle in her arm and a note in her pocket that said goodbye. I couldn't just walk away. So you built a cell? No, it didn't start like that. At first, she just needed food, a bed, a safe place. She got clean. We talked. I set rules. No booze, no pills, no knives. He paused. But the fear didn't go away. Every time she left the house, she came back worse. More volatile, more desperate. One night she smashed every mirror in the house. Said she was tired of seeing herself. I listened, heart pounding. She said she needed containment, not babysitting, not a therapist with a clipboard. Something real. So you built a cage. It's not a cage. It's a room with a lock. She has books, music, art supplies, her own Wi-Fi. We talk every day. I bring her meals. We watch movies through the bars sometimes. She has full freedom to choose the arrangement again every month. Except she can't leave. She can. Once a month we sit down. She signs a renewal contract. She stays because she wants to. I stared at him. You know how insane that sounds, right? I stayed the night. I didn't plan to, but Noah didn't ask me to leave, and part of me didn't want to go. I couldn't stop thinking about her, Ava, her calm, her clarity, her insistence. I watched through the small basement window as Noah delivered her dinner. They laughed. She told him about a book she was reading. He rolled his eyes and called it pretentious. It didn't look like a hostage situation. It looked like some strange, broken version of care. That night, I barely slept. Every fiber of me screamed that this was wrong, illegal, unethical, but the law is clean. Life isn't. And somewhere in that cold space between black and white, this existed. The next morning, Ava asked to talk. Noah stayed upstairs. She sat just inside the bars, fingers laced, eyes steady. You think I'm brainwashed? I'm not. I think you're young and desperate and traumatized. All true, she said, but I'm also better. I'm not cutting. I'm not using. I'm writing again. And I've made it 9 months without trying to kill myself. That's never happened before. I looked around. The books, the plants, the order. You could do this without a lock. No, I couldn't. I've tried. The truth is, I need something stronger than my impulses. Something external, something that holds me when I can't hold myself. That's not healthy. It's not ideal, she corrected. He should have taken you to a facility, gotten you a professional. He did, 5 actually. 1 kicked me out. 1 over-medicated me. The others just watched me spiral and wrote notes. This is the only thing that's worked, even if it's not normal. It's not even legal. Maybe, but is it evil? She asked. You tell me. And that's when she gave me the journal. Read it, then decide. She slid it through the bars. A thick notebook, dog-eared and full. I spent the next 3 hours reading. Her handwriting was messy at first. Erratic, frantic, rage and grief and self-hate in every word. But as the pages went on, something shifted. The words slowed, became thoughtful, focused, even funny. She wrote about triggers, about dreams, about her own patterns, her need for control, for structure, about Noah's patience, his boundaries. And most of all, she wrote about choice, her choice. By the time I closed the journal, I felt like I knew her. And I couldn't hate Noah anymore. But I also couldn't forgive him, because now the weight of this arrangement was in my hands. I could walk out of there, call the police, report everything, and maybe they'd let her go, put Noah away, put Ava in a psych ward, and maybe she'd relapse. Or maybe she'd finally follow through, or I could stay silent, protect my brother, respect her choice, and carry this secret for the rest of my life. Either way, something broke that day, and I haven't put it back together since. I didn't call the cops. I left the next morning without a word to Noah or Ava. Just packed up my bag, got in my car and drove. But silence is its own kind of confession, and I didn't stay silent for long. Back home, I tried to go back to normal. Work, friends, life. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw that basement, that girl, her calm face behind bars. Noah's tired, defiant eyes. I didn't tell anyone for weeks, not until our mother called, saying Noah had written her too, asked if she wanted to visit, said he'd changed. You think I should go? She asked, hopeful. I don't know, I said, but I did know, and I couldn't let her go there blind. So I told her, all of it, every word. She didn't believe me at first, said I was exaggerating, misunderstanding, but then she called again 2 days later, voice shaking. I talked to Ava, she said. She confirmed it. I didn't expect what came next. I think he's doing what he has to, Mom said. Sometimes love looks wrong, but it's still love. You're siding with him? I'm saying maybe we don't know the whole story. That's when I realized something sick. Noah didn't just rebuild his life, he rebuilt his image. To our mother, to the few people still left who would listen. He made this story make sense. I wasn't sure if it was genius or just survival. The problem came 2 months later. Ava disappeared. Noah called me at 2:14 a.m. She's gone. What do you mean gone? I unlocked the door like always. She left, said she needed air. She never came back. I sat up in bed, heart racing. Did you check the woods? I checked everywhere. Did you call the police? I can't. You have to. Silence. She told me once, he said, if she ever ran, not to chase, that it would mean she was ready to die. I closed my eyes, a knot growing in my throat. I don't know what to do, Liam. Neither did I. 3 days passed. Then a Reddit post went viral. I think my sister's being held in a basement, and she's not allowed to leave. Posted by someone named Grace 121. Ava's sister. She'd visited once a year ago. Noticed something strange. got brushed off, but now she was suspicious, digging, and just like that, the story spread like fire. Woman held in basement by rehab brother. Prisoner safe house, the story of Ava M. She didn't want to be saved. The sheriff's office opened an investigation. A warrant was issued. And when they searched Noah's house, the room was empty. No Ava, no note, just a few books, a mattress, and a lock. Noah was arrested. Unlawful confinement, endangerment, potential custodial abuse. They didn't have Ava, but they had my testimony. The pictures I took when he wasn't looking. The journal she let me borrow and never asked back for. I turned it all in. And for the record, it didn't feel like justice. It felt like betrayal. The trial took months. Noah's lawyer argued everything. Mental health defense, alternative therapy methods, even consent documentation. But Ava never showed. She vanished. Completely. No social, no bank records, no bus tickets, no body. Just gone. Which made the whole thing murky. Was she a victim or a ghost? Noah was sentenced to 2 years, suspended, probation, mandatory therapy, and community supervision. The court didn't know what to do with a man who might have saved a life by breaking the law, and a woman who might have disappeared because she was free. Last week, I got another letter. No return address, just a page, Ava's handwriting. Liam, I'm safe. I needed space. Real space. I didn't run because I was broken. I ran because I was finally strong enough to stand alone. Thank you for seeing me, for not calling the cops that first day. That gave me time. Time I never had before. Noah didn't save me. He just listened. That was enough. Maybe one day I'll reach out again. Maybe not. But I'm alive. And that's more than I ever thought I'd be. I read it twice. Then I burned it. Not out of anger, but to let go. Because some stories aren't meant to be proven, just carried. It's been almost a year now. Noah and I don't talk. Our mother still hopes we'll reconcile. I don't know if we will. Because the truth is, I don't know if I did the right thing. I didn't call the cops. I let him keep her locked away. Even if she wanted it, it still feels wrong. But if I had called, she might be dead. That's the part no one sees. The decisions that live in the gray. The kind that don't fit into clean little stories about good and evil. Just people, wounded and trying. And some part of me still waits for a knock at my door, for Ava, or Noah, or karma. But until then, all I can do is ask the question I've asked myself every single day since. What would you have done?